Today I'm going to talk about running RAD 30 in Transit in order to bring over data that has just been entered into Banner. So what you would do is you would log into Transit, and what you're going to do is you're going to use the drop down box and you're going to go to RAD 30. Now the question is, when would I use this? Well, let's say a student just had a significant decision made on his application and you need that student in immediately. You could do it then. Let's say you're scribing and you added a new course into Banner and you need to go ahead and scribe for that course, so you could bring the course over so you could go ahead and scribe. Let's say you're trying to scribe a new program and you just put the program into Soacur. You could bring the program over. Or you're working on Scribe and you have a cat box that wasn't checked on Soacur. You checked it and now you wanted to test to see if what it was working. You would have to run RAD 30 before that would bring over the changes that you made. So when you come to RAD 30, you're going to do the drop down box, and notice here, once you do RAD 30, you have a selection and you have questions. So let's first look at the questions. The questions that you have to answer is, do you want to run an advisor extract bridge? I know some of the colleges assign students advisors, so if you go in and you run the process and you assign student advisors and you need that brought into Banner immediately, you would use the advisor extract. This is if you had a student applicant that you really had to bring in immediately. You couldn't wait for the nightly cron. You would do it here. Course, you would run the course extract, as I said, if you had entered a new course in Banner and now you needed to do Scribe for that course. You would do the course extract to bring it into DegreeWorks. Cur rules, if you add a program in Soacur, or if you check a cat box or change a major in Soacur, you would run the Cur rule extract. Equivalent extract is if you go to SkyDetail and add an equivalent that you need to run the equivalent and test on a degree audit, you would run the equivalent extract. I don't think we would run this one too often. This is the ETS transfer school. But let's say you have a student who comes in, he's been at a school that we've never had that you've never articulated something in Banner, and you add him to your Banner and you articulate, and you need it to bring the student in right away. You have to bring in the institution information. This ETS is only going to bring in the institution information. It is not going to bring over anything that you articulated. If you come to mappings, this is what is going to bring over your articulated information. So if you articulated something for a student that you want to see right away, you would run the mappings. Staff, you're really not going to need to run this. Well, you would if you clicked off advisor and you wanted a student and faculty or staff brought into DegreeWorks. You would do advisor and then you would run the staff extract. And then the student extract. You can do this student extract if you went to a student's record and you took the student's record and you added some courses or changed his program or something that you did to the specific student record. Then you would do the student extract. Or let's say you have a student who is a prior student and you need him brought over to DegreeWorks. Then you could run the student extract. Now, let's just go with the student extract. Let's say you go to run the student extract and you just want to bring over one student. You could, at this point in time, just click launch. However, if I click launch, notice that it tells me that I did not enter any selection criteria. Continue anyway. If I do that, this is simply going to bring over the student. It's going to run basically the nightly cron job early, and it may not pick up your student. So you wouldn't want to run this because, one, it'll take quite a while, and two, you don't need to bring over all the students. So what you can do in that case is you come here to the selection tab, And there's two things on the selection tab. You either have criteria or an ID file. So let's look at the criteria. Let's say I just wanted to bring over one student information. So I would come over here and notice you can choose from student ID. And then I would put the student ID is equal to, and I would type a student ID. And I would add criteria. Now if you wanted to do 2 or 3 students, you could do it again and you could put another one and bring it in. So now when we ran the student extract, it would only do an extract on these students. So let's delete this one, and notice I can just delete it. That's if you wanted to run it on a student. Let's say you're wanting to run Kerr rules, but only on a specific degree. So you could do this, and then you could do the drop down. And remember, we're programmer's degree. So let's say you, to save time, let's say you made a change to the AAS in CD. So you choose that value, you add it to the curricula. Then I could come over here and I can run Kerr rules. Then I would come to the question and I could run Kerr rules. And it would only pick up that one program that I did in the selection to do Kerr rules. Now, this is picking up the degrees out of this list is coming from our SureCode tables. So if you just added it in Banner, we have to make sure that that is in our degree code table. In your SureCode table in Banner. So it must be there in order for it to show up here. But here I could just run a Kerr rules on just this AAS of CD. And if you just wanted to run it on freshmen or seminars, if you wanted to run it on an in-term, an admit term, a grad term, you can choose whatever criteria you want and add it in here. But let's say you want to run it on a group of 50 students. Well, then you could upload an ID file. However, this ID file must be in a text file, .txt, which is basically Notepad++. So what you would need to do would be to create a file, and you would put one student ID per line. Now, once we upgrade, which probably won't be till the end of the year, you will be able to do this yourself. But for the time being, until we can get you access to the server, you will have to open a ticket and ask me to upload the file. And once I upload the file to the server, then you'll be able to run the process. So you can run it on a list of students by uploading it here. So let's say I pull the student, let's just say I want to, right now I am in test, so I can do this. Let's say I just want to run a student extract, and I'll say I'm going to extract myself. It really shouldn't come up with anything, because let's see what happens. So I'm going to add criteria, and now I am going to come back to the questions. And I'm going to simply do a student extract. I'm not going to worry about use the default SQL. I'm just going to run it on myself, and I'm going to do launch. And then I'm going to hit launch again. The question is, notice it's saying it's running on the host. So now what I have to do is you can come to the tools and select jobs, or simply click the wrench button. And it opens the job status. And notice on June 21st at 15:21 it started. Notice that when it's run before, it has an L, which means that the job has started, and A, which means that it's finished. So I'm going to click, and notice it's saying it started. And I'm going to refresh. And see how the A has popped up, so that means that it's finished. So if I double click on the A, notice it actually says, it should have my name on here that I started it. I don't see it, but it said we started it and it processed one student. Okay, so this tells me what you're going to do is you're going to look for the summary selection, and make sure, and notice how it says start and finish, so we know that the job is finished. If you double click on the L, notice that here it says banner extract parameters, and it has the number, and I actually ran it on myself. Actually, this is saying who ran it. I ran this, and then this is the student that I ran it on, which is the same. So, it's finished. And that is how you do it. Now, if you did something that you wanted to print, then you would have to do a Control A to select, do a Control A to select all, and then a Control C to copy, and then paste it. But I don't think you'd have to do that for any of the Kerr rules that you run. So this is how you would do a banner, RAD 30, extract, to bring any information over. And remember, you really only need to do this if you need it brought over, because any information that you bring over will be automatically brought over during the nightly cron job. As you can see, this cron job started at 10 o'clock. Sometimes they start at 1800, and you can see all the times that this is run at night, 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's very basically run anywhere from 10 o'clock at night till 4 o'clock in the morning.